Well, good morning, everybody. It can be overwhelming knowing when to start your seeds, especially if you're a new gardener or if maybe you've always just bought your plants in the past and you want to give it a try. You want to try planting your seeds ahead of time. It's like, when do I even start? I'm Jennifer, this is A Country Life, and I'm going to share with you guys today my whole process of how I make that happen. So the first thing that you need to know, and this is so important, is you need to know when your last average frost date is for your area. So I would advise you going on to, oops, I have a touch screen and I just touched it. I would advise you to go on to almanac.com/gardening/frost dates. I'll put that in the description box, but that will take you to the Old Farmer's Almanac, and then there's a little spot right here where you just type in your zip code. So I just put in my zip code and it tells me exactly like the city and exactly the location of where they calculated the average last frost date for my area. And it happens to be May 17th. I know that specifically where I live, it stays colder longer than that. We live in the lowland area, and that's why cranberries grow so well here. So I do know that our average last frost date can be like early June. And so I kind of have to adjust my numbers for that. We never ever plant our main garden until after Memorial Day weekend. So depending on where that falls, if it's a little bit of a early Memorial Day, it can be a full week after. If Memorial Day is late in May, like, you know, sometimes it's May 31st or something like that, then we might, you know, plant right on that day. So anyway, another note here, another thing to note is that it does say that there is still a 30% chance of having a frost date after your last average frost date. Okay, are you guys confused yet? So basically, go on, put in your zip code, find out what your last frost date is, and then just kind of think about if that makes sense for your area. All right, next step. So the next step is to just get everything out that you might have. I have already purchased all of my seeds from Jung's. I purchased from them, I mean, on and off, I have been purchasing from Jung's Seed forever, forever and ever and ever. I think even way back when I was in probably 5th or 6th or 7th grade, we had to do like a science experiment, and I did one where you tried different kinds of light and you put cellophane and stuff like that in front of your plants to give it like red light or green light or blue light, things like that. Anyway, I remember purchasing my seeds from Jung's even for that science project. Okay, I did pick up a couple of these little packets from Dollar Tree. I have no idea. I don't think I've ever bought those before. Don't know if they're going to grow. But anyway, I have that. I have an ink pen. I also have everything from last year handy. So I have my little labeling sticks here, and I have all of the leftover seeds from last year. You can actually see that I have the dates marked on those. I'll tell you about that in just a second. And then I have a box down here with all of my little peat pellets. I find that these are pretty easy to use, maybe not the least expensive, but they worked very well last year, so I'm using them again this year. So I've been just organizing my seeds by the indoor start date. So if you purchase, let me see if I can get this really focused. Okay, so if you purchase seeds from a company where it does give you like the seed starting information, it will tell you. So for these Sugar Ann snap peas, it says direct sow. So these I am not going to start ahead. I put those in their own pile. Now I have this next pile here. In this pile I have the Commander Hybrid Summer Squash, and this is zucchini, and it says here to start seeds 2 to 3 weeks prior to last frost. So everything in this pile here are the 2 to 3 week seeds. I just go along here. I have dill and cantaloupe. These are both 3 to 4 weeks prior to the last frost. My zinnias here says 4 weeks. Lettuce says 4 to 6 weeks. I have all of my tomatoes, says 5 to 7 weeks. And then I have some peppers and broccoli here, which say 6 to 8 weeks. So here we go. I'm going to just keep on, putting these where they need to go. I have everything in their proper places. I am going to take this lettuce out though and put it with this lettuce and this lettuce, and I do have some plans for those. I'm going to show you that in another video. So if you are liking this type of content, you could subscribe then and hit the bell. That'll notify you when a new video goes up. So as you can see, I have 4 different seed packets here that say 6 to 8 weeks ahead. So if I go to my calendar and I look at Memorial Day, look at that. This year it's going to be May 31st. So I'm just going to count back 8 weeks from there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That actually takes me to April 5th. Today is actually this Monday right here, which is the 29th. So even though I'm like a week early, I'm going to get it started because for about 3 weeks now, I have just had this itch to get started and just to make something happen. We have had a very, very above average March so far, and except tomorrow and Wednesday are supposed to be really, really cold again for March. But anyway, such a beautiful March, and it has just got me thinking I want to garden. Okay, so now that I know the dates for those Mondays, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to write the planting date on each one of these little packets. That way I don't have to do this all over again next time. I will know exactly what day I want to plant these, and then I just kind of gradually each week am planting something. That way the task isn't so big. So all right, let me just go out and get those trays, bring those in, and show you how I get this all started then. Uh-oh. All right, well, bad news. This tray has some cracks in the bottom. Okay, so I'm gonna double check this tray first. I should have done that with that first tray. And I see this tray does not have holes. This tray isn't the right size for these pellets. It's still gonna work fine though. I'm just not gonna be able to get as many in a tray. This is what happens when your tray isn't the right size for the little pellet discs that the little discs that I have. They float until they take on the water, and then I will just have to reposition all of them. This year I was not able to find this size of pellet for these trays that I had last year. I was only able to find the little small ones for this size tray, but I just figured it would still work. I even have this tray that has even larger pellets, and I have not been able to find those this year either from Jung's or Walmart. My next stop is maybe to go into Ace Hardware and see if I can find them there. Okay, I was wrong when I said I couldn't find the right size pellets. The ones I ordered from Jung's were actually the right size for my square trays that I had, and I have been double checking each time. I put a little water in, lift it up, rock it back and forth, make sure there's no leaks, because I have a big mess over here to clean up. Got water everywhere, all over the floor. Okay, so you can see how Maria's is locking into place. They will expand much better that way. Just like a watched pot never boils, a dry potting disc does not soak up the water if it's watched. So I went off, left them be here, and I did laundry. So what I'm going to do now is just pour off the excess water, and then we are going to get set for planting. Since these pods are bigger, I do have to add a little bit more water to this tray, and then I'm going to let those soak for just a little bit longer and let them take up that water. Okay, so now you can see if you put the discs in the right direction with that like little indent facing up, it makes like a little opening. I usually go through actually and open it even a little bit further. Okay, just like that. I don't want there to be any restriction when the seed starts to germinate. Okay, so I'm going to start with my asters here, and I'm just going to read the back, and it says here that these need to be planted 1/4 to a 1/2 inch deep. Anything else I need to note?
Can I help?
Yep.
So how many did you want to plant?
I haven't planted any. What you could do is go through right now, and you see how these need to kind of be opened up? Why don't you do that? You can open up all of them. All right, so Peter jumped in. He's gonna help me open these up. And I'm gonna look at these aster seeds. Woo! These are tiny.
Wait, what are asters?
Asters are a type of flower, see? Sort of like a daisy.
Oh my god.
Aren't those pretty?
Yes, but they're so tiny.
Yeah, the seeds are tiny. With these aster seeds, my goal is to put 1 or 2 seeds per pod. If I have enough at the end, I will go back. Any of them that I just put 1 in, I will put a second one, or I'll put a third one, depending. Okay, I think this is going to come out just perfect, actually. Once I have the seeds in place, then I'm just going to take my finger and kind of push it down. It said 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 inch, so I don't want these too deep. I just kind of push them down and then squeeze over some of the peat.
I'm all ready, Mom. Mom.
Why don't you open up those broccoli seeds?
Ooh, these seem small too.
They're not quite.
Did you get carrots this year?
Yes, we got carrots. We did I did the carrot tape again, like last year, because I thought those seemed to grow nicely. Kind of squatty,
So
but
I just put them
they
in
grew
my
nice.
hand?
Well, let's read what it says. Turn it over. So right here, it says depth 1/16 to 1/4 inch. So just set a seed. Now you're going to put.
One just fell.
That's okay. Put 1 seed in each of those.
Do you know what's weird? The seeds are so small, they grow into the biggest things.
I know. The broccoli last year was enormous, wasn't it?
Yeah. Hopefully it's like that again.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Okay, I have extra seeds.
All right, and super, super important is to make sure that you put in a label. Okay, so once we have a seed on the top of each one, you know, we just read the package and whatever it says, like 1/16 of an inch to 1/4 inch, I believe is what it says here for these bell peppers. So I'm just going to push it down in, and then we'll just kind of pinch the soil over the top. You know, you don't need a whole lot of soil for 1/16 to a 1/4 inch. We have them labeled already. Maria did that so nicely, and that is going to be it. You know, then we have to get the tables up. So we still have to get our tables up, don't we? And get all that set up.
We normally set it right over there.
Yeah, we normally set it right over there. Look at that mess.
Yeah.
So while I cover up, why don't you pick up this mess? I know, but you want to do that part.
One?
I'm going to do this part. I want them covered just right, okay? And then you are going to be perfect at picking up the mess, and then we'll get the tables up. All right, so I did bring up the table here, and it's just like those little plastic tables that you can pick up from, you know, really anywhere, Fleet Farm, Walmart, that kind of thing. And now is like the exciting time to put all the trays over on the table, and I'm going to cover them with a little bit of saran wrap. I did have like plastic domes that came with them originally, but those have long since cracked. And so I'm just going to put some saran wrap over it just to sort of keep a little bit of that warmth and humidity in. So that is it for knowing how and when to start your seeds. I hope that this cleared it up in your mind and just gave you some confidence to tackle this project. It is so much fun to reap the benefits. It's a lot of work and there's a lot of prep, but in the end, you know, when it is late July and August and September, at least for our area, and we are reaping the benefits of all of this work, it is just so, so worth it. I hope that you subscribe to my channel, and we will see you in the next video.